Hi guys, welcome back to Romania. It's a pleasure to be here, as always, for another season of PGL Season 1. The last one was the kickoff. This is the first official season, and bringing with that is also a North American division new this year, along with the two European groups and the European online qualifier as well. Henry G, first time we cast together.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad in one way.
Why?
Because you're the first caster I've ever been with who's got a better hair than me. So
there you go.
It's actually
that's pretty good hair, I gotta say.
It's not strong enough. I should have got a cut before I came here, but thanks for having me either way. But
we still don't like Rival Sponge though, or like Havoc, or like
Havoc is strong as well. He's doing really well. He's leading the CS hair meta right now.
Hair game on point. No, that said, I mean we are getting back into another season. The last one went extremely well. Production was fantastic. Finals are DreamHack Bucharest. This time finals are in Romania again, but it's not part of DreamHack. It's going to be just a separate event, but 4 teams in the final. 1 will be North American. There is 1 spot for sure given to the North Americans, as well as 2 to the Europeans. And like I say, we do start things off tonight with the North American qualifier, which is going to be pretty interesting because 3 teams are invited: CLG, Luminosity, which is the new Luminosity lineup, as well as
the Brazilian guys.
The Brazilian guys, yeah. As far as I was told, I think it is the Brazilian guys, so they are ready to go. And I think they're still in Brazil right now. So we'll be interested to see how they play.
The other guys are still in the Toronto house, as far as I'm aware, right now.
They're actually not. They're at
really?
They're gone already. Well, they decided to go home. They hadn't been home in a while, so they decided after the NA qualifiers for ESL they would go home. But at this point, the Brazilian team is scheduled to be back in North America any day now. So I'll be interested to see if they. I think by then they will be. By the time we roll around to that point, because that's the start of September. We get to that stage in the bracket. So they should be back in North America by then. And then the last team, of course, is Team Liquid. Cloud9 a little bit too busy to participate right now. Things are a little bit hot and heavy for them, but that's 3 solid teams. CLG easily the number 2. The Brazilians are always a threat, even in international competition, and Liquid is a team that looks better as of late.
It's difficult to pinpoint who you think is the best team in that group. I guess Keystars going into this, there's such an anomaly that can be so dangerous, especially at LAN events as well. Like there's such a team you can never underestimate. They seem to take down the giant slayers in some ways. But Liquid, I think this is a time to prove themselves and get some recognition. For me, they've been a bit lackluster recently, and their form has kind of been letting them down.
Yeah, so here is actually a look at the structure and how it all works. So the rest of the invited teams from Europe: TSM, Na'Vi, Virtus Pro. That's a pretty solid group. TSM, obviously, in that when you look at it on paper, should be the favorites, but Na'Vi currently rated above them on Thorn's rankings right now, and also been a reformed team of 2015, improved massively. Virtus Pro started off as consistent as ever, have kind of trailed off as of late, but you can never discount them. And then, of course, on the other side, Fnatic last time didn't actually qualify directly. They had to go through the last chance. They were the 4th and final team to qualify for the event. TSM, let's not forget, their first international victory was PGL last time. And then Titan and Envious in the same group.
It's such CSGO as a whole right now is so interesting. All those teams are there going through a difficult patch. It's really weird. There's no clear defined number 1 team in the world right now. I think Fnatic are ranked number 1, but the current form they're in with the previous events, it's been difficult to back them and call them definitively the best team. TSM just went out in last place at Take TV. So those are the top 2 right now. But it's really difficult to even say who is the best team in CSGO right now. This tournament, I think, is amazing. We've got so many good teams here. It's a chance for them to prove themselves and get back onto the saddle and potentially find their form. Like Envious and Titan as well. 2 teams with fresh lineups coming into this tournament. We haven't seen much of them. I know they're playing this weekend. I haven't had a chance to watch much of it, but it seems like they're kind of settling into their roles. Kenny S come out and said he's finally feeling comfortable with
I don't have to get 30 kills to win
every
time. I love
that. That's quite cool from him. Saying if he's publicly coming out and saying that, he's got to be feeling confident, right? So very interesting times.
That's the thing with that roster, right? There was a lot of speculation over the fact that bringing in Apex, Shox is a high skill player. You bring in Kenny, who's been a little bit off form as of late, looking to return to form, and then you bring in Apex, who's I think has looked great lately. A lot of people weren't sure about that, but there is a lot of questions around that as well. Titan, the same thing. You bring Shox, who's got so much skill. You bring Smiths over, who has been part of all the French dominant rosters. Now you're throwing them back in with a whole different core that's been struggling massively. And I think both teams actually could benefit from this in the long run.
When I first saw it, I thought the opposite. But then when you dissect it and break it down like you just have, you kind of think it's more of a clash of the players themselves. And now they've kind of reformatted and got together. Everyone seems happier. So that's got to be the best solution for both of them.
I do know Shox is motivated to take down Envious, though.
Yeah, that's his main target now, just to prove them wrong. It's quite cool to see him back in that kind of lineup playing with RPK again. It's been interesting to see how that goes down.
Yeah, it could be. And again, we'll get a chance to see that when we hit the group. Now, that's an online stage. Again, 1 from each of those groups will make it out, the U.S. one included, and then the last chance, which is just for the European side, excuse me. But that said, we do have, and again, the qualifying spots, which we saw, the 4th team in each of those groups will be qualified And that's where we start tonight with the North American division. 3SUP, formerly Affinity, just picked up. Now, these guys, this will be our first game, by the way, so we'll preview this a little bit. But these guys actually, as Affinity, didn't make it to the ESL NA qualifier. And a lot of people were shocked by that. They lost out in the online portion to Noble Esports, who had a rough season in ESL themselves. And then they go against American Misfits, relatively unknown. Great chance for them to potentially put up some numbers, get exposure here. Method versus Doyce. Again, we'll see that as game 2 tonight. Method, another team that's got some solid players on it, have been dancing in and out of the invite level or now professional level. SKDC, same thing for them. 4Kids, they go against another unknown team, and then Lunatic, who won Premier this season and will be in the Pro Division next year. So there is 4 teams here, I think, and they're spread out evenly here. 3SUP, Method, SKDC, and Lunatic that stand out to me.
This is where it's difficult for me as a European caster. Like we cast American teams quite a lot, but these guys here, they don't make it over to the lands, obviously. So the reading I've done online, I think what you said before, there's 4 teams in there that can go head to head of each other. When you break it down, you take people like 3SUP, they seem to be the favourites in the first game tonight. They've got Davey from Team Canada. He's the only player I think I've heard of from that lineup.
Yeah, well, I mean,
offensive.
No, that's fine. And like you say, from a European perspective, these guys they haven't really been in any lands. Affinity, they actually won Premier the year before season. I lose track of season. What was this? This was 19, so it was season 18, which moved them into the professional division. They had a really slow start, but they sort of, kind of like Tempo Storm, kind of caught their feet, managed to catch up with themselves, and they bring a lot of skill. And in fact, you go back to that season 18, and there was tournaments, in fact, the iBuy Power tournament, where they were beating some of the top teams that year. And I mean, Jason R stands out to me as a solid, consistent fragger. There's definitely some solid players. The thing with them is obviously making sure they get consistency. And if they can qualify for this event, getting in with the pro teams that they have upset before, there's a really good chance.
Well, tonight, I'm not going to pretend I know everything about these teams. I think where I shine, especially when we're watching CS, I can give you amazing post-round analysis. And it'll be really interesting for me to see how they're keeping up with current meta and how you can compare that to European teams and whether they actually have a shot about getting further than this sort of event. So that's where I'm going to be tonight. That's where I wanted to give full disclosure before going into this one. It's
that's
a difficult
totally
territory for me. It's uncharted. So just to get that out there early.
Yeah, no, well, I think, and again, like you said, it'll be interesting to see your perspective without a bias toward it, without seeing these teams to compare it to the North American gameplay, because essentially this is 3SUP in some ways is the tier 2 of North America. Yeah, they play in the top division, but they're not, with those consistent teams that are making it to the lands. LG, now Mythic, LG Key Stars, so both LG rosters, if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah.
Weird to say that way. Elevate, Liquid, CLG, Cloud9. Those guys would be sort of the North American clear-cut number 1. Tempo Storm now putting up a good case.
Absolutely.
To be in there as well. But aside from that, the rest is sort of all the tier, they mix it up with the rest themselves. And this is where 3SUP, I mean, if Tempo Storm can sort of snip into the backside of that top 10 now, and with the talent they've brought on, you have to look toward 3SUP as being another team that wants to make that step forward. So, I mean, they're at the top. Lunatic's going to be another one to watch in this one, having just qualified for Pro. But that said, we'll look at it in specific for the 4 teams coming that we're going to see tonight. We'll take a look at our Vulcan picks for the evening. Now, as I've already said, Henry, your team's going to be first, apparently.
Wow, what a masterclass in predictions I've got for you tonight.
I'm actually judging it. I like that you took Best Moose because Best Moose has the best name.
That's what I based a lot of it on, to be honest. I was going for who had the coolest name. No, so what I did here tonight, I looked up the stats and I went based on the value of the players as well. That's all I can really go on. So I was taking the highest fraggers, the highest value players, and I took, from all the 4 teams playing, I took the highest value player from each one, the second highest value from each one, and anything I had left, I just chose some cool names.
See, I'm confused as to why, though, you wouldn't stack up 3 players from 3SUP.
Yeah, maybe I don't really know what I'm doing. Maybe that. Matt, let's just say this. If I lose to you tonight,
if you beat me, it would be even more problematic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying for you, definitely. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in this lineup. I think it's going to do well based on
you saved $4. That was pretty good. You can go buy yourself a Kit Kat. It's not bad.
So, well, presumably you've got a much more detailed and scientific pick for us. You can actually break down and.
Well, we'll look at. I don't know about scientific. I don't know if that's a qualified word to describe
the way you've been talking about this all day. You've been doing your homework. I've seen you there all day.
So here, this is actually mine here. So I did stack up 3 players from the 2 teams I thought would be heavy favorites in this. So 3SUP, I took Abe, Arya, Davey. Now, originally I picked up Kiko because he's newer on the roster. And there's been a lot of hype about him coming in. So I thought he was fair value. And I'd be interested to see other people in the league if they beat us by having him on the team, because he is sort of the player that is the wild card factor and he is consistent. So if you could pull him in and fit him into your budget, there's a really good chance he'll jump ahead of this roster I have. But I took Davey, who's fairly consistent for them. Jason R, again, is a player that stands out but doesn't really jump forward to me. So Davey, for the money I had, by the way, I saved $1 less than you, so I got much better value for my money.
Yeah, with less Kit Kats.
You're right. That's a good. I did lose that battle, didn't I? Damn it! I should have gone with Jason. And then obviously for these guys, for the American Misfits, it was pretty straightforward that I don't expect them to be in this game quite so much. It is a best of 3. Keep in mind, both of these are best of 3s. But I went with Flash just to save money, and that allowed me to buy more method players. Where I stacked up again, I went with 3, and it's as you can see. We'll switch over there. I'm waiting for the producer, but as you can see on the side, it's going to be. Who do I have from them? Mainline, Roberts, Streber, and Silent. And I think that Silent and Roberts have been outstanding all year. And Mainline, again, for money reasons, I went with him. But he's also fairly consistent. Justin's. I mean, the thing is with the bottom mid of these teams, they're all fairly close. It's Silent that stands out the most to me.
So you've got Abe as your shot caller. Could you go into a little bit more detail into that? What's so good about Abe? Why do you think he's
solid fragger? Yeah, definitely a solid fragger. Plays the rifle quite a bit, so you're going to get a lot of headshot percentage out of him. I thought that he was the good pickup there. So, and obviously from Deutsch, I picked up 0 because that's how many wins I expect them to get in that series.
So, like I said, Davey's the only player I'm aware of in this whole rundown tonight. So, are we expecting him to be the star player tonight? Is he definitely someone who's a world-class pedigree?
I don't know that. I wouldn't put Davey that far. I mean, I met him at ESWC. He was adminning the event because he's fairly close by. Again, right now he's actually playing in the Canada-USA game, best of 3, which is happening for the qualifier for the World Cup or whatever they call it now. I think it is the World Cup still.
Yeah, I think.
And there's actually some really good players playing that game. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of the U.S. guys have a lot of the pro players right now. Canada team's got all pro players. Semphis is in there. I think that Davey will stand out. I don't know that he'll be the top. I think Abe's actually going to be a little bit stronger than him there. Usually, I mean, I could be wrong. Davey could have a lights out game, and then I feel great about my pick over Kiko. But I mean, the Vulcan's a great league. Get in there. All you have to do is, I think there's a banner down below our channel. Click that. It'll link you to a promo code. Match your first deposit. Pretty straightforward. You jump in simply as we did. Pick a team. There's also the show we do every week, which we just finished actually 40 minutes ago, and you can get in on that by using the currencies on the website. Ask questions. There's also a new skin jackpot process that's on there, so there's lots of stuff, plus the blog, and there's other leagues as well, not just PGL and not just Counter-Strike. Dota, MLG's on there now with COD, and what other game? There's one other game, League of Legends. That's it.
I only know Counter-Strike, so
yeah,
I can't help you.
League of Legends. So it's pretty good. So again, moving into just before we get ready for the game, moving into this game again, 3-Sub have the upper hand. I would expect, now I haven't seen the maps, it is best of 3 as I mentioned. I would expect them to go forward in 2 on this.
I read a little bit in the predictions online with what people are saying and speculating. A lot of people actually suggesting it's going to be a whitewash. They said they're talking about 16-2, 16-3, a very quick and clean kill for 3-Sub. Would you agree with that? It's going to be that sort of convincing scoreline?
On paper, you have to think that. I mean, this is the first bracket in this online now. It was done, the first part of it, the initial part of it was run through Face It, and it was run at a time when teams like Elevate were still at NA qualifiers, and tonight they still want to play, but tonight have SIVO placement. So a couple of those teams couldn't make it in, which was a bit of a mulligan for these 4 teams that we've highlighted in this bracket. I do think a whitewash is entirely possible. Now, there is always the dark horse factor, and even myself, I don't even know that much about American Misfits. So if they come out guns blazing, and who knows, maybe they have some crazy individual skill, maybe they can use that pug strategy to catch.
I guess that's the thing when you're going, especially when it's home battles. When I was a player and playing UK teams, they're always the hardest ones to go against. You all know each other. There's some sort of rivalry there, however big and small. And you play against these people in pugs all the time, and you're always trying to updo each other. So it could be interesting if American Misfits gets momentum and start getting the mindset of shutting them down. Maybe something interesting could happen. But
I mean, if they win first pistol, win first gun, just by chance. I mean, like I say, if they have some individual skill, they rely on it. They get a good pistol round out, win the first gun round as well. They can start to get the economy to flow, and then there's a chance they bring it to even if it is a loss, they bring it to something like 8 to 10 rounds in that case.
If this was a best of 1, I would say that there's a good chance of happening. But the fact we have a best of 3, it should be the result everyone's expecting. But I hope it's competitive at least. We want to kick off the tournament. The first game here, we want to have it a good one, right?
I think regardless, the teams that are involved in the invite section, let alone these qualifiers, is going to be outstanding. So we'll take a short break. We will be back with game 1, best of 3. We'll get to the maps. We'll get to all the rest of the details in just a minute. So there we go. Just as quickly as that, we're ready to get things rolling. Game 1, as we said, 3-Sub. And by the way, I have to correct myself. Apparently, they were second place in Premier in Season 18. What did you say? Silent very quickly corrected me. I said that they won Premier in Season 18, I believe.
Matthew.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Silent,
I'm sorry. I'll stay silent from now on. Henry's going to cast.
this isn't going to work when I don't really know what's going on. I'm relying on you to carry this.
I never know what's going on. I just talk about action. That's all I have to do.
That's true.
No, I mean, again, we go into the best of 3. It is American Misfits. 3-Sup have to be the heavy favorite moving in. Now, a bit of change in the format this year, and we'll get to the maps, picks, and bans in a second. Excuse me. There is basically, and as well, we'll look at the roster as we see 3-Sup. There's basically no knife for signs anymore in the first 2. Now, let's not be confused. That's Kiko, not Hiko. He's the recent addition, but as you said, Davey playing in Team Canada's game right now. Actually, I think Jason Arias as well.
Right.
So they must have just finished to come over for this one. But Davey, Jason, Abe, Kiko, and Arya. And Arya, again, playing Area 51 with Mo for a while. Pretty heads-up player. The stats, I'm going to explain this while it's on. Obviously, it's at 50-50 on all maps right now because we don't have information yet. But as the league goes on, we'll have a percentage of their victory and rounds won all shown. The stats are going to be really cool this year.
Is that just for this tournament in general? So it wouldn't be global, just for this tournament?
Well, there's not a whole lot of stats on these guys globally yet anyway. So when we get into the other teams, we may include those as well. But right now, it's just set at 50. As that goes on and as the tournament develops, we'll see. We will develop that. So same with American Misfits, no stats to go on. So it all sits at 50. But here's a look at their roster. And Flash, again, the player I picked up. But Aster TV, Frizzy, Cricking, and I'm not even going to attempt that one.
Which at the end?
Yeah,
Pleasant.
Pleasant? Is you going to go with Pleasant?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Where else would you go with?
Tweet us if we're wrong. I actually don't know him, but he's Canadian, and Canadians are pleasant, so I like it. Pleasant it is. So, I mean, there's a look. And again,
do you know any of these guys?
I have to say no. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know I'm gonna get called out for being the North American who doesn't know, but again, it's like
that's absolutely fine, right? That
does
add to the narrative that these guys should be winning this game. 3-Sup should be taking this one pretty convincingly. If there is an upset or is even a close game,
it's great promotion for the other guys.
Yeah,
it's a great way to. I mean, if someone can go as a standout player and maybe someone notices it, who's in the middle of a roster change, looking into the next season 20 coming up for ESEA. Could be really good for them, like we say. And I mean, 3-Sup though, it would be a huge disappointment not to pick this one up again, specifically after losing to Noble. Now Noble's a bit of a better known team, I should say, than American Misfits. Not a bad team at all with some decent players, but losing that for the ESL NA qualifier. So there it is. First ban was obviously Mirage. American Misfits had first choice, so second ban went Train. 3-Sup not wanting to play that. First map Inferno. Pretty straightforward from there. Dust 2 out. Overpass in. Overpass in is interesting for 3-Sup. They have a lot of confidence on it. There was actually one of the maps this season in Pro League that they were pretty solid on all the way through. Cobblestone goes out, and we're left with Cash, which we will knife for sides on if we get that far. And that's a big if.
I wish I could give you some real cool analysis here and how amazingly this has worked out for either team, but there we go then. It's going to be Inferno on the first map. Have you seen enough of 3-Sup on this to comment on this one and see whether it's a map they are favored or get back
the thing is on Inferno, I mean, Affinity, yes and no. It's been a while since I've seen them on Inferno, but it is if you're going to pick a map for a best of one,
sure.
Like you'd almost want to pick that as the lower level team because straightforward, it is a momentum-based map. It's economy-based. So there's a chance here for American Misfits, like we said, win that first gun, win that first pistol, and get things rolling. But again, there's a lot of individual skill on this lineup. Arya's going to be able to open up bomb sites quite well, even if he gets the op up. Kiko, I'm going to be interested to see how they bring him into the roster, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot more individual ability to.
Is this Misfits map as well? Did they choose this one?
They choose this one.
So that means 3-Sup get to go CT first.
That's right.
So that's going to be difficult for them. If you are the stronger team, you can get the strong arms on the CT side. This is where you can really roll teams over as well. If you can lock them down, and if you find confidence as well, especially when I'm watching other European games, it's the team that builds up the momentum we talk about. As soon as you find that momentum, you get a score line. Like, let's say 5 rounds in your favor, it allowed you to start experimenting a little bit more and exploiting the skill you have over the other team. You can push down banana a lot more. You can lock down the steps. You can push down second middle, get your AWP rotating, and that's when it gets very dangerous. So I think Misfits are going to be wanting to make sure they get at least a couple of rounds on the board starting terrorists. If they go down 5-0, especially when you get up against a stronger team than you that gets comfortable, that's when it's very difficult to get back into the game. Yeah,
I would entirely agree, and I think the predictions speak to pretty much everything we've talked about. This evening, a lot of people taking that under bet just to see if they can land, I don't know, a lucky day, win some skins, make videos about it, post them on Reddit, those troll videos. But yeah, 89%. And Twitch chat thinks otherwise. Here's the interesting thing. Last year when we had Toby here, Twitch chat was never wrong. Like they were like, TSM's going to beat Fnatic tonight, and we were like, it's on Inferno, I don't know, and then TSM won. So we're going to leave if that happens, and they're going to bring in new casters who know what they're talking about. But American Misfits, 79% in Twitch chat. Way to be the best, Twitch chat. You're awesome.
79%. So, all right, we'll see how that one goes down then. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. It should be, and again, and just another look at the format. So as we get quickly into it, we're just waiting for the teams to ready up. Another one, I didn't make a highlight of him as well when you asked me about their Inferno play, but Abe is another player that's going to be able to lock down rounds late. I mean, he has got a lot of potential. So, I could go on and on and on. Obviously, Affinity's got the upper skill, so you don't really need to go too much into the theory. The play should speak for itself, but you made an excellent point about CT side, because that's going to make it that much harder for American Misfits.
Yeah, it's just getting that mindset of being the better team and getting that momentum and then utilizing it. And you can start experimenting and do what you want on the map. We can see they actually have got the CT side if almost anything to go by. So this is a hellish start for American Misfits, but it's their map. They obviously favour it. They may have some information. The good thing about being the underdog as well, you have something to study going into these games. You can look up demos. You can see how they approach certain pistol rounds or how they approach their first gun round, for example.
I'm just going to suggest it. Where the online section for it's all online, but the first section for Face It, which they ran the qualifier, just ended. I'm gonna suggest that. I mean, maybe they demo reviewed a bit. They might have VOD reviewed, but I don't think they've done that much.
I'm just trying to speculate, trying to make it exciting.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah. Okay, so no one's done that. Everyone's turning up, just having a friendly game of Counter Strike.
I mean, maybe these guys actually see a chance at this, and again, for exposure's sake. If American could win this, I mean, there's a reason to demo. I'm not sure that they would have taken the time to do that.
Yeah, it's just the point I'm trying to make. If you're the underdog going into these sort of games, there's nothing to read on them whatsoever, and they have some sort of information available to them. Perhaps they could, they've picked Inferno for a particular reason, but maybe it's just a strong map for them. But it looks like we're getting ready to start now, so we'll be able to get into this one and see how the pistol round goes down. It will be 3 subs starting on the CT side and American Misfits starting as T. Your first map is D Inferno.
And actually, so far, okay, that's a little bit aggressive. I was actually going to say so far a standard buy for the T's, but they are going to go for the Tech 9 on Aster. They've got 1 Molotov, 1 smoke, so I'm expecting a CT smoke, Molotov off skyboxes or potentially over towards spools on B, but they're, okay, never mind. They want to go toward the apartments with the bomb, so they're going to sell 2 players into middle. That's already being spouted, but look at Abe. The aggression already, the confidence they've got on 3-sub side, but Abe goes down early, so a bit of an opening here. Davy's going to respond with 1. Arya still trying to find the last side of Pleasant because he's very low on HP. In fact, with just 6 remaining. And the push comes on to A. So never mind, they want to go onto the A side. That Molotov, where's it going to be used? It's not even going to be thrown yet. Now it is, and it's going to do some massive damage as Kiko, he's going to pick up 2 inside the site with the USB, and he's looking for the last remaining player. It is Frizzy. Actually, I take that back. The HUD's throw me off because Pleasant with the 6 is still alive, but there he goes. Kiko finding that one as well. Great start for him. 4 kills inside the A site.
I'm surprised the T's didn't punish more from that banana push. The CTs, they got the first kill there. They had more men at the bottom. They allowed the CT to fall back. They should have capitalized on that situation, taken him down, and they could have got onto the B bomb side really easily that place, but they allowed him to fall back. It was quite a nice play from them. The CTs lost their information at that stage, and they went for the house push. Got completely shut down by Kiko there. You were highlighting him as perhaps one of the better players on the team, and he did really well there. Really solid defense from him, and you can see now the T's actually opting for a full PT50 setup. Normally a lot of teams would force buy in this situation, especially if you don't get the bomb down. You like to try and get this one, force some guns down. Perhaps they're saving something. They've got a strap. Perhaps they haven't got any utility to play with at all. So getting the bomb down without even a smoke grenade or a flash, you can't really put a whole lot of faith into it. But here we go, Abe now. Looking for some intel, can't really find too much here. It's going to be quite a slow round as well. You can see 2 players over towards the B-bomb site. No bomb on them, so they'll be potentially trying to sell a fake in this sort of situation.
And that's brilliant. Like you were saying, to try and get into a bomb site right now without utilities, that's pretty much their only hope of getting someone to overcommit, leave the site, give them that opening. As the CT is going to use their utilities to perfection, getting out that late smoke on Banana. That's going to slow things down on that fake that you talked about. And give a kill to Davey in the meantime, as Arya still just waiting to see if anyone's going to push through. Instead, he's going to get aggressive as his teammates are doing the damage on the opposing site. And that allows him to take down Crocking. Again, Pleasant, the last that's left, Abe to find him as well. So he brings himself up with 3 kills in this round. 4 from Kiko in the first. 7 between 2 out of the 10 kills we've seen so far. Not a bad start for 2 guys, but overall, the score 2-0. That's all 3 subs going to care about.
Yeah. So, Matthew, I'm not normally one to judge, but when you've got no smokes, no flashes to play with, and you send the bomb towards the other bomb side to kind of, you have 2 guys towards B, it's normally advised they go in and do the fake first before everyone dies toward the apartments. Those guys are sat at the top of B. They didn't really do anything whatsoever. Everyone started dying, and then it was just a horrible situation at that point. We can see now it's going to be a full block by here. This is going to be a complete throwaway round. Bomb getting destroyed. We can see Molotov's coming into the equation and all sorts. There'll be 1 guy left. He should be taken care of very quickly. And that's going to be 3-0 to 3 subs. So this is the situation we're kind of talking about. American Misfits not really doing anything too impressive or showing any sort of level of play that's going to compete with 3 sub right now. But here we go. This is the round that counts, obviously. With the rounds they've been doing, it allows them to have completely full buys. So they have the Molotov, the smokes, 5 AKs on the board, but CT do have an AWP and an auto shotgun. So
Yeah, the op's the big one to get Arya onto that very quickly, and they're going to go for 5 AKs against them with full utilities due to that third round save from the T's. So they do have a lot to work with execution-wise, but like you're saying, not really utilizing full map control. So we'll see if this op will come into play. As right now we see both players inside mid and alt mid from the T side. Kiko's going to wait passively, just check out to Boiler, but the crossfire is really set on the opposing side, is it not? 2 players stacking up on that arch side when they try and push forward, and now just finally, they look like they might get some presence inside Banana, but they've already rotated because of this, because of the Banana control they've had, they've already rotated a 4th player onto the A site.
Yeah, this is actually really good for the terrorists. They've got control on top of Banana now. They need to work out where the T's are, where the CTs are, sorry. They need to start going up middle, ascertain what they're doing, see if they can work out some sort of setup. The time is ticking away now, and they're still spread across the map, and they haven't got the bomb. They're going to run out of time here before they've actually gathered anything to happen.
And they seem very timid as well. I mean, Arya just threw that smoke all the way over from A to help the players at B, the individual solo player at B, as it were. But with no information, he's actually going to start to lead, or rather, Abe, going to lead back and get ready for the take. And that's the right call because right now, American Misfits looking to go. First smoke goes to CT. Second one goes out towards Spools. There's the bounce for the Molotov to come down on Oranges too, but there's no one waiting there. They're actually waiting in the site, and Abe's going to find the first. Jason burning another alive when they push through the initial choke point and adding a 3rd kill with his M4, just looking for Flash left. And so far, oh, there we go. Flash has the first one on Abe. I was going to say so far, not even many kills materializing for American Misfits. His utilities just to intimidate Jason, not let him push through. Time's going to run out, and that makes matters worse because Flash loses the money after the round.
Yeah, I hope that was first game nerves for American Misfits, but that was just bad, I'm afraid. They got decent map control. They got towards Banana. They needed to start pushing the CTs back at that point. As soon as you allow CTs to have one player towards B and sit there by himself and just call off, nothing's happening, guys. They didn't bait out any grenades in middle whatsoever. They allowed the CTs to keep smoking off the top of Banana. Clock came down to 30 seconds. CT smoked off the top of B once again, and then it was just a horrible execution onto the bomb site. They ran in, died all together, in a crossfire. Very simple stuff. And this is exactly what I was talking about before. It looks like they're getting completely outskilled in all disciplines of the game. Davey still with an auto shotgun there. That really shouldn't be happening with the 5th round. He shouldn't really have an auto shotgun still, but there we go. He's going to keep that. I think he's enjoying himself right now.
Yeah, no, this is pretty straightforward. This is just a replay of the last round. The first gun where we saw Jason on the entry. Burning 1, killing 2 with the M4.
It's so telegraphed at that point. When it's 30 seconds left on the clock and the guys are having to commit. If you're throwing smokes over at 30 seconds and you're already smoked out as well, it just shows a sign of desperation. Running through there, you're never going to win that battle as well. They're running through before their smoke even bloomed. And yeah, that was just a horrible state of affairs for them. They're mixing things up this time though. You can see an AWP is going to be on Frizzy. And hopefully Heber, the battle area, see if he can work a pick. It seems like these guys are relying on picks as opposed to actual strategy here. So let's see how this works for them. Will they be able to find a pick? And there we go. He actually does it. And that opens up the round for them. And they actually have a chance of getting their first one on the board.
This is their first pick to work with. We'll see how they play off of this. Arya's got his op up, though, as well on the CT side. And as we can see, looking toward Banana. So not standard down middle. Crocking's already pushed up as well. He's in behind the logs at the arches. So forward position. Susceptible to some nade spam, but also in a good spot to counter out any overcommitting peaks. As Abe setting up a crossfire now as well at the top mid. But as he does that, his second player is helping Davey. He's going to fall back to pit just to make sure they don't work through the apartments. And again, the grouping is being done pretty early right now from the American Misfits. And as well, the time is going down to around that 30-second mark you mentioned the first time.
Oh, it looks like they're going into an actual execution as a set piece here, and they have the advantage. It's a good time to do it as long as they stick together. They'll be going towards quad as well. This is actually a really nice play for them. They need to get onto the bomb site together, go frag for frag, and ensure they can actually stay together as a unit. Davey taking down the first kill there. Another one coming in from A. It looks like this is falling apart yet again for American Misfits, and you hate to see this happen after such a promising start to the round. 20 seconds remain. Crockling's going to be the last player there, and you've got to think this is absolutely impossible for him. Another horrible state of affairs for Misfits. Like we said, they got the first pick. They actually did a nice execution there. You got the correct smokes down. They didn't get killed or drilled from the smoke from the arch side. Went quad, but it looked like it was too easy for the CTs. The crossfires were completely set up. They were under no real pressure there, any sort of situation there. You need to be Molotoving key choke points, forcing the CTs out, flushing them out, not allowing them to actually crossfire you. They can see they've used smokes there. Those smokes don't seem very effective. He could see everything in quad as they're running around. So ideally, you want to be smoking on top of the truck. That completely locks that area down, and he's done for. Then you need to have one person coming out of the apartments. He helps as the guys come around quad, and you kind of work it like that. But that execution wasn't great at all, unfortunately. After such a good start with the AWP, you've had to feel for the guys a little bit. But now their economy is getting absolutely battered here. They've got 3 Galils in hand. They have got 5 smoke grenades. There is a chance of execution there. They could do something, but from what I've seen so far, their execution seems to be the main issue for them.
And execution or even just the individual battles, they haven't been able to win because they haven't been getting their foot in the door. They haven't even been getting themselves in positions to take those trades. And Crockling again going very low on HP, I should say.
But look at Davies'
saw that
position
nade stack
right now.
and Molotov, and you're dead right. Davies in a great spot, but he's going to lose it. Frizzy, there it is. That's the individual battles they need to win. Those ones have to be attained, and give themselves a bit of a chance here to play into it, as it's going to force Kiko back off mid as well, just because of that individual kill at Apartments.
What I was mentioning before, when 3-sub get to this sort of position, 6 them up, that's when you can start experimenting with those audacious plays. Pushing through, we call that position almost Romeo when he gets to that point there. But when he gets there and he can actually get all that information, that's a pretty bad spot, to be honest, and he got shut down there.
Is it because he's yelling at the window for Juliet?
Exactly.
Oh, that's so romantic. I love it. I love it. As we see the banana taking a happen, it's already going in, and Jason finding Pleasant, but then gets taken down by Flash. So now they actually have a site. It's not without Jason's presence from the grave. How fitting is that? And not to mention Jason's presence, he gets an assist on the team kill, so he still gets 2 burned alive after he goes down, as they get desperate to push into the site. And then Aster says, screw it, we finally got a site. I'm going to do it alone. And he manages to pick up 1 on Arya, but Abe's going to come back in and defuse right away.
Oh, it's going from bad to worse, isn't it? Team kills coming in now, and
that's their best, execution. If you want to be positive.
Team, if you wanted to look at something, they got a bomb down at least, I guess. Yeah.
They had to sacrificial lamb, be the martyr, give it up. They've got to, pray to a god right now to get in this game. That was their way of doing it.
Well, this is the point where 3-7 can start being a little bit cheeky. I can see they have a relatively decent spawn here. I would be calling, let's go aggressive now. Let's mix things up. We've been quite passive so far. They've let them get away with quite a lot. They haven't actually been too disrespectful so far. The only thing we're seeing is Davey pushing down now, and you can see they're going now, pushing down middle now. Kiko pushing right down to bench area, and no one from T's side actually they haven't got any map control in second mid here at all. It's allowed him to get to that position.
If you call the other side of that Romeo, what do you call the bench side?
I just call that bench.
That's so creative. I knew it was coming. Well, there we go. It's going to be pushed up for Kiko that time, but he gets caught off by Aster as he peeks toward the bottom of middle. It does give a chance for Jason R to get 1 kill out, but the man advantage is still up the way of American Misfits, and Arya getting very aggressive, does take down Aster, but a little bit too confident as Flash comes back into that. And now this is the time when they can evaluate on the American Misfits side if they're going to get a little bit arrogant, if they're going to start pushing those positions. Then if they play a passive Team Liquid approach, they might let 3-sub come in and just give themselves away. And now they finally get a bomb plant, and they have the man advantage in the post plant as well. Flash going to stay deep inside the site. Other 2 players both back toward top middle. We'll see how it unfolds. This Flash is going to get taken down immediately by Davey, and Crocking is so far away from the site because he's expecting someone to come at the top side of mid, the bottom side of the bomb site, the lower approach, but no one is. It's going to be Pleasant, though, coming back, and I think he did just spot one right in front. In fact, they're going to line up for him, but they defuse it in the smoke. They allow that to happen because Crocking is so far away.
What is he playing at? He's 2 CTs who just killed his teammate on the bomb site, and he's still towards T spawn.
And they call the pause. No surprise.
God, they need a miracle right now. They don't need a pause. That was shocking. Yeah, Crocking, I don't know what he was playing at. When the bomb's down in that situation, unless once the bomb's down, it's been going for 10 seconds, you can probably clearly say that no CT to be pushing down Banana at that stage. You face it, you work what's going on, you don't sit T-spawn and hope that someone may come in the end. He needed to be a lot faster than that, and as soon as his teammate died as well, he needed to be up that quad area and start challenging the bomb and not allowing them to smoke and do the things they did. It was.
I'm loving this chat we're watching. These guys are like
illegal pause.
They were joking, but then American Misfits was like, "Oh God, really?" So maybe part of the inexperience of being at this level, they're totally entitled to attack the pause, and you have to take it there, like you said after that round.
That is a really funny joke, though, isn't it? Yeah. That's some comedy gold they've done there.
Yeah, that's good.
But then let's talk about American Misfits so far. Their problem has been not picking so much. A couple of rounds, they've actually got the opening frag, and been quite convincingly so as well. Frizzy got that all pick on the round they almost won, and then the other picks they've been getting, it looks where with 3-sub being a little bit too audacious. They've had a bit too much fun. Davey pushing down into the Romeo area, as you coined it.
You coined it. I'll take the credit if you want. I mean,
yeah. Right, we're unpausing now. We can see another buy coming in for them. I think.
Have you ever heard, just to get back into that? Have you the line, the show Whose Line Is That Anyway?
Yeah.
They did the hillbilly Shakespeare impressions, and one of them was, "Juliet, I'm your cousin. Get down here because I love you." It was so good.
More of that. That's great.
Yeah. We can cast that way. But back to your thought as we get back into the gameplay.
I've lost my thought now. That was too much for me. But here we go. We go into it now. You can see they've been actually been getting a lot of banana control this whole series. And this time a lot more passive. Again, getting the first pick. It's going to be your man Frizzy opening it up. Abe goes down. And you can see that the CTs now have to decide what they're doing with that man in CT spawn. Does he stay towards B? Does he rotate back? It looks like he's going to have to rotate back. No one watching Arch right now. T's not really reacting to the situation. In some situations, I like this, but considering the way things have gone so far, I'd have liked them just to get out quickly after they got that kill, utilize it, and try to get into a bomb site and stifle the CTs before they had a chance to rotate. Now they've reacted and got back into positions. After the executions I've seen so far, I really don't have a lot of faith in this plan they've got right now. 2-1-2 from them. This seems to be their fallback whenever they get a pick. This is their passive stance. But they're actually trying to gain some control now. But again, time ticking away. Bomb's going to get picked up. You can see them going towards middle. I would say probably go towards arch side this time, considering how badly the execution was onto quad before. Try an arch side one, smoke off the actual arch itself, wrap around onto the bomb side. That could be more effective for them. 30 seconds now. Let's see how this one pans out.
Oh, great angle to look at the approach as one from Boiler comes out. Now a second, it's going to be Frizzy, but perfectly timed Molotov. Are they divided? That's the question. Crocking's going to push through it anyway, but now a second's going to come out. And that was team thrown. It bounces the wrong direction, and now Davey is going to take down Frizzy. So it's getting shut down. Utilities so far, great, as the Terror has put out one smoke to allow them closer to the site, and it may work out as Pleasant finds Davey, but Kiko's there. Responds into him, so the trade, perfectly timed, leaves Aster. He's got it down to not so much of a disaster because it's 2-on-1. He's got the AK, but it's only 9 HP, and yeah, you called it time, and could be even more problematic because time and no HP, more money lost.
So the problem is there, right? When they get the first pick, they're not applying enough pressure. The CTs are keeping all their incendiary grenades. They have smokes, incendiaries. They're just waiting for the execution. They know how passive these guys are. As soon as they get the pick, they fall back too much. They're not applying the pressure. They're not taking away that information or even getting control and using their man advantage. They're waiting for 30 seconds, choosing somewhere to go. And the CTs have to drop some Molotovs and just cause chaos and just set up the crossfires up. And it's too easy for them. And it's really difficult to watch. This is fundamentals of CS going wrong right now. And you right now they don't even look like they're actually going to get around. If they do, it'll be something, a big mistake from Freeze-Up, and that is just testament to that. A huge spray down, horrible team play going into there, one by one for a smoke, getting shut down together. And
I mean, again, to be fair though, we are looking at a top, again, Tier 2 North America top division team against.
I'm just trying to analyze for you. I just want to.
I get it entirely. But just to make sure we put the context in place as well.
I'm not trying to be brutal today. I'm just trying
I mean, being brutal is good, right? Because they'll look back at this and be able to pick up those remarks as you pick them apart for them. So
it's difficult to say what Threesub are doing good because it looks like they're just kind of having fun, sitting back, waiting for the execution and getting easy spray downs. I'm trying to tell you what teams do wrong. That's kind of the thing I can pick up the most on. You can see it executes. Problems are very easy to point out at 2020 hindsight. I appreciate that, but it's very basic CS is going wrong right now. When you get the first pick, you need to apply more pressure and then force the CTs to use their utility in that situation, so they have to lock off the vision. They're a man down. They should be on the back foot there. They shouldn't be able to sit so comfortably and get away with it. But here we go again then. They won't be able to find the first pick this time. It's still going to be a 5-on-5 situation. The CTs are getting a little bit more aggressive than we've seen before. They're pushing up to that car area. They're shutting it down with the more aggressive smoke instead of sitting back into the bomb site. T's locked out at this moment. They don't really know what's going on. They can't see where their actual first pick's going to come from again. But here we go, through the smoke. And will they be able to find anything? CT's falling back. They know there's an execution coming up again. And as before, incendiaries get dropped and the T's are going to be forced to go through them. Pleasant, though, does pick up the first kill onto Abe. Is this the first round?
Oh, the nade's going to cancel that back, though, because Davey gets the initial damage and the kill. Now it's Kiko to come back in. Lines up a second. That's Aster. And Frizzy to go down, but finally a response. Crocking's going to take down Davey. And that leaves a one-man remaining, and it is Crocking to recover that bomb from his deceased teammate. It's going to be 11 rounds now for Threesub. We could talk about lost round bonus, but that's redundant.
Yeah, it's kind of not even a factor
this
right
was
now.
Yeah, this was the spray down. I know it was against the Nico, but still, just so much control.
Again, so they actually did pretty well to get into the bomb side there. They got, again, shut down by the utility. That was the only problem. They're not baiting enough of it out. They're wasting too much start of the round trying to get the pick here, and their executions aren't strong enough to rely on that. Teams like Navi can do that because they're world class. They've got the best execution in the game. Tactically, they're immense, and they can rely on their players to actually make the crossfires and get the frag for frag going in as a team. But right now, Threesub 11 rounds, American Misfits 0. T side, if you get 3 rounds, that's enough. So they still not completely out of this one. They can get back into it, but in the current form, I'm going to say that's not going to happen, and this could be going in the territory of a 14-1 or something like that.
He needs to get this trade. Jason's going to line it both up. As Pleasant Crocking was looking, he was lurking. He actually pulled one out. Then he allowed his teammate to go down and didn't step immediately to protect and not able to secure the trade either. So Jason R picking up what should have been a more complicated double. Turns out to be fairly easy. Bomb's going to be recovered in alt middle right now by Aster. This allows Jason, though, wrapping all the way around Banana to take another shot, take another kill. Goes low on HP, but his teammates will do the rest.
Yeah, that is kind of running around now. Got the Orgs out, pushing wherever they can. There is no respect in this situation. Jason here with a pretty decent push. Great synergy from the team play. Perfect pop flash for him. And the second guy should have shut him down. He wasn't actually blind in that situation, but I guess he just got outskilled. And that takes us to 12-0 now. We can see the AWP is out again for Aria. How do you pronounce it? Arya?
Arya. It's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, never seen it.
Well, we can't be friends. I was really looking forward to spending time in Romania with you, but unfortunately, it's not going to work out. Jason R again, another double, make it a triple. Kiko adding one more. Straightforward, is it not? As we were. Another solid round, and Crocking coming in with at least one salvation, if we can call it that.
So that is going to be all she wrote, I think. After seeing that horrible buy from the T's, that's almost the signal on the white flag being raised at that point. When you're buying up Tech 9s, UMPs, understandably, with the loss bonus we discussed before, you can buy up next round, but it's getting horrible to watch at this stage. 13-0. We can see this little replay here. He didn't really have to do much to work with that. He's just run down middle, got a couple of sprays with the AK, took some kills, pretty easy stuff. And then it's going to get from bad to worse for Misfits. You can see that buy here. No real equipment to go for.
It almost looks like replay telling fortunes of this round too, because it's the same situation
that
again.
Might be in the same round. Was that a replay again?
It might be.
God, 14-0. That was pretty hard to watch. That rings true for the whole of this half, to be honest. We're looking down the barrel of a 15-0. But this is when a lot of teams will throw this round away, especially when you're so confident you'll do something crazy in the last round, and you always do lose that one.
I mean, you go for the force buy here.
But look, they've got 2 auto snipers now. Like, this is where they can throw it away, just because they're being a little bit too cocky, perhaps.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they can only throw away at most another additional round. It's
That's what I'm talking. I'm just talking about the perfect game right now. Nothing else.
Arya's going to go against Pleasant. Easy shot. Oster coming out with one in response to the auto sniper. There it is, though. Davey, thanks very much. I mean, again, they're just pushing down mid. No fear at this point whatsoever. It's just stat padding. We'll see who can come out on top of it. I probably should have picked up Kiko as opposed to Davey. We'll see how they look in the stats at the end of the game. But right there, Abe finding Flash. It's just a matter of where's Waldo, where's Frizzy. Frizzy's coming through the smoke. At least he picks up Abe. So he's actually got them divided up. There's a chance they could pick up one round here because Jason R is the weak player, excuse me. But he is over toward B. Flashes himself in. No go smoke in the gap. Kiko on the flank already. But around the corner they go. And Frizzy needs to be swift because he does have, again, that flank coming in. And Swift is not jumping twice. But, oh, he's going to hunt.
This is good. He's trying to be too smart here.
He might be too smart indeed because had a chance to put this bomb down. Still 40 seconds. And with one pushed up Banana, Jason, I'm surprised, is lurking back toward A as if he may have pushed through apartments. And Jason's going to spot him. Again, low on HP, so Frizzy gets it down to the one-on-one. He may take this down, and Kiko not going to allow it. So close. 28 HP. The dream's dead.
What dream was that exactly? One round on the board.
I mean, it's maybe just waking up from the night. You could be right.
Well, there we go, then. A 15-0. We did discuss before the game, we were looking down at like a 16-2 scoreline, but we got a 15-0. And you kind of have to say this one is over. You don't really see many 15-0s these days, and that's...
Flip side took down Nip, 16-1 or whatever it was.
It was Kingwin took down Virtus Pro, 16-0.
That's right, 16. That was nuts.
That was crazy.
That was LAN as well.
That was a LAN. That was a big game. That was the last time I saw it, actually. So
never forget.
Maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe they just had a bad map, and they can get back into this one. But at this point, it's almost trivial. When you're going into a half 15-0 down and you're going on to CT and you think, God, if we don't even win this pistol, we actually lost this map. I'd be thinking to the next map at this time as a team leader, think this one's probably over. Let's concentrate on it. Probably just rush somewhere, hope for the best, and see what happens. But here we go. Then the execution does come in. Pleasant taking down area, and we can see it's going to be an exchange of frags. He may actually be able to get a bomb down now.
The good news is they do have another player over at this B site, Frizzy, and he's read this correctly because he knows Abe's going to push around behind into construction, so he gets the first frag. But they've still got the bomb to contend with, and 2 players that are up, Davey and Kiko. Kiko with only 14, but his teammate Davey doing all the work because Flash is now down to 4, the initial tag from the Glock, and they're going to push through together. Davey might rotate back to the direction and second thought, but he's now gone. It's the low HP pistol that has to win this out. He's defusing Aster, and now he gets off of it, but it's low HP. Kiko's got to be so careful. Very smart to back around the corner with that strafe jump as he continues to bait out the time, but he has to go for this repeat. There's two, there's one. Is he going to get it? He does. American Misfits, they will get around.
They're back, and they're ready to roll. 14 more to go. They can do this, I'm believing. The thing is, getting the bomb down in that situation, this allows them to do the classic 1.6 buy. You can see the AK there. One guy buying armor, he gets dropped an AK. The rest of the guys will get Tech 9s.
This is why they're Misfits, because they don't do things, traditionally. They're outside the box. They like to play from behind and win from 15-0.
That definitely isn't traditional. So, yeah,
Misfits.
maybe that's the whole setup. We just lose every first half 15-0, and we claw our way back in, yeah? Okay, well, this is it. As you can see, Jason Arthur, you normally give it to your strongest player. Give him the AK-47, see what he can do with it. He's been the chosen one this time, and they'll be picking it up. The idea of this tactic is you can use your 4 players of the pistols. They can work out, get you information, maybe do some damage with grenades, smoke off key points for you, and it allows them to go in and cause a distraction. The AK can kind of clear up and get the one taps in that sort of situation. He's got the better gun in this situation as well. The CTs can have SMGs or FAMASs, so that's why they utilize this one. But here we go then. The CTs actually opening things up, and it's actually really convincing. Aster taking out 3 players there in the apartments. It's going to be a final player left for 3-sub, but he will get taken down. And that's actually a really convincing round for the CTs, and something we weren't expecting perhaps.
A late call for Flash to react that Arya had dropped in a pit, so I wonder what the communication might be like for AM, but as you say, taking down that AK early, going to leave Jason Arn in a tight position, goes for the Tech 9. Kiko's okay with money to get into the next one, so they may still have an op when the guns come out, as Aster just holding on to this balcony, lining them up.
That's actually pretty good. I enjoyed that. Nice work.
Finally, they've pleased you.
Yeah, well, here we go again then. Another forced buy from 3-sub. They just want to close this one out as quickly as possible. It seems like it's going to be a very fast banana execute here. You can see the set smokes going down. The CT's got to be in pretty bad position for this as well, especially considering with the guns they have. They will take down the first frag. All going to be on to Crocking now. He manages to take down Davey and Abe, and it's going to be a 4-on-2 situation. They've actually held this off pretty nicely now. Bomb is going to be down. CT's rotating in. Next frag's will be very important. It's going to be a 3-on-1, and that, again, Misfits look like they're waking up finally and actually getting some frags on the board and responding to what 3-sub are doing. They've got to be careful now. I know they want to close this one out. They have so many to play with, but it's going to take a lot longer than they anticipated. They keep force buying every round and trying to close it out before they can do it properly.
15-3, but here we go. Back into another save just based on that very aggressive second round buy with the AK. Op's going to be out, so Frizzy needs to be careful not to get taken down too soon against these pistols because they are starting to swarm inside middle. In fact, Arya already up toward the bench. There's a smoke out from the CTs, but that will give position for the player in Boiler because it's in the actual choke point as opposed to one of the sides to force the push from the T's left or right. As Frizzy's going to nade over top. Balcony, or excuse me, rather apartments also going to be taken here. And they could look to drop inside pit quickly as these pistols are going to go. And there's the flash in, so it's Aster to line them up. And again, we saw him do this with the FAMAS. It's now going to be with the M4. But as it is the A1, and is left with 20 bullets, has to switch to the pistol. Flash will come over and bail him out. And Frizzy's going to take down Arya as well with the help of Flash. A good swing position by him at the front of Library. And Pleasant takes down the last remaining player with the bomb. Jason just trying to get some money rolling.
You have to ask yourself, had American Misfits started on CT and got this start, we could have had a very different game on our hands. But unfortunately for them, these rounds for me are just trivial at this stage. They're just waiting until this one's over. But great response from them. They can show they can play, and they have got some good players there. Aster's been standing out for me. He's had some great spray down opportunities. But now this is where it gets serious. You can see an actual full buy coming in for them after a few forced rounds, a few silly ones. But they've got 5 AKs, full utility to play with as well. No aggression from the CTs here. Quite a standard game from them here. They're actually seeing them go 2-2-1. Which is kind of unorthodox, but allows you to rotate quite easy towards the B bomb site in case anything goes down. But the T's opting, looks like they're actually setting up for another B execute. They've got that control. They can see players towards middle as well. Maybe if they can push the CTs back in that situation, going to lock out some information. This is actually quite good. David getting up there. He's just trying to get a distraction going right now and seeing what information he can gather. This is perfect. They've smoked off the arch area. He's just trying to get any sort of attention he can to himself.
Cocking sit on spools. Pleasant. Back front, new box. He's forced out because they did drop a Molotov both in front and now behind him, so he's got not a lot of room for movement. That allows Jason to easily be able to pick him off in the open. Crocking not able to pick up anyone either, so Jason doubling up on entry will allow the bomb to go down. And is this all she wrote? Because Frizzy's stuck inside some flames. It's going to be Arya to take him, and now it's Abe waiting in behind the sandbags for the arrival of Aster. Aster not prepared at all for his presence, but Flash able to take down Arya. Still in a 1-on-3, gets another kill, but he overextends, and Jason able to not only start the round, but close out the match. It's 16-4 on the first map.
So a pretty expected scoreline. It's a shame it seems it's a shame they only woke up in the second half there, 15-0. Not a lot to analyse, I'm afraid. You actually told me off halfway through for being too rough on them. So
I didn't intend for it to be telling you off. I apologize.
You know, Henry, stop talking about the game. Stop analysing it.
I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean it.
It's fine. It was difficult to analyse though. Like I said, when the CTs build up that momentum, they get like 5 rounds in the bank. They start kind of experimenting, pushing down, having a little bit too much fun. We saw a lot of that, and it was very difficult for them to shut it down. They got outskilled completely on almost every fundamental approach to the game. It was fragging, strategy, execution. It wasn't anything there for them. Their CT side for American Misfits actually looked a little bit more promising. They had some good setups there. Some players standing out. Aster was the one for me who seemed like he brought his A game in that second half. But yeah, that's the first map out of the way. It's going to be Overpass next.
And
Interesting.
Affinity do enjoy that, or 3-sup as they're now known.
Well, this is their pick. That's the bad thing about this situation.
They do have to start T-side, though, as well, though.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're I mean, it is the bad thing when you look at it that way because they're going to have even more confidence. But again, same rules apply. You have to start out on that T-side. That's the other thing we didn't mention toward the end of this game is where Misfits had to start out T. We saw what they could do in their CT, but it was always going to be an uphill battle. So it's kind of
I prefer this format, though. Like, knife rounds, I find it too random. I don't really like that format. I think having this, it works really cool because you can pick your map. If you're stronger on it, you should be winning either side. You should be winning it. You should be clearing it out, right? So I think this is a lot better. And we will be doing a knife round for the third map if it comes to it. But I always prefer this. I've never liked a knife round in my entire career. I've never been a huge fan of it. But
interesting point. I do agree. If it's your map push, you should be able to take it. That said, we'll take a short break before map 2, which will be 3-sup's choice. It is Overpass. We'll see you in just a few minutes.